Hey everyone, this is Matt with the Foodscaper and Custom Foodscaping. Want to share a little bit about our Foodscaper Starter Pack. This is an Excel spreadsheet with tons of different pages, and it kind of unlocks the agonizing bang your head against the wall time that is like budgeting when you are trying to figure out how much a foodscape project is going to cost. When we got started, we didn't have the money to get fancy software, and it seemed too intimidating. So we went to Excel and we built this out. It's actually in Google Sheets, so it's easily copyable and shareable, and it's all stored in the cloud. We have this sheet where we've built out all these different pages that make it super fast and easy and now streamlined for me to build out a budget in a reasonable amount of time. And we've taken the time over the last 8 years to kind of classify and catalog everything. I'm going to jump in and just show you a little bit of what this looks like. It's going to be a little bit of a longer video. Stick around if you want to see a little bit more of how it works. But even in just the next minute, I'm hopefully going to show you how I do these budgets in a way that is way faster than I used to before we had this tool. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We'll take a look at this. So here we are in the main budget page. Now, this is kind of the final page. We can see at the very top, the budget total. We have a $200 consultation credit that we give back to the client. If you don't want that, you can just delete it. And then we've got these final budget pages, which you can share with the client if you'd like. Now, a lot of times what I do is if we're doing a raised garden bed, I go to this raised garden bed calculator. I can enter in the size of the garden beds that we are working with. And then let's say that we're doing a garden and it's got 4 beds that are 8 by 3 by 12 inches tall. Well, then I can see that once I put that into the calculator, boom, all this information populates. I can see that I need 3.5 yards of soil. I can see that if I'm going to top it with compost, I need a yard of compost. It shows me over here like the number of 8-foot boards that I need. If I'm going to build them out of 10-foot boards, it shows me the number of 10-foot boards that I'm going to use. It gives me all this information. And then when I jump over to the materials budget, it's already populating here in the materials budget too. So I can see how much raised garden bed mix do I need? 3.5 yards. How many 2 by 6 by 8 cedars do I need? I need 33. I need a yard of compost. I need to make sure I've got delivery fees in there to account for the fact that I've got to go pick all these materials up. And then I can start to build things out. Like let's say that I've got a bramble trellis. Well, the fact that this is already here, it helps me remember like, oh, I need to put in the posts for the bramble trellis. I'm going to build a raspberry trellis and a blackberry trellis. So I'm going to need 4 total posts. We're going to be using a wire trellis kit, which we have at 75 bucks. So I put that in. We're going to need some cross pieces. So we're going to need, 4 for each bramble set. So 8 total. So I just start to put this in. We've got our irrigation priced out. So if we're doing like, we would call this a small irrigation job because it's only 4 garden beds. So I put that in, and that's our material cost. So all this stuff is populating, by the way, with the total cost and then the cost to the client. We've built in here, you can see all this is multiplied by 1.3, a 30% markup. So you can change all that stuff, of course, to suit what you want. We've got things built in like, do we need a mini track machine? Do we need a sod cutter? All of these things we've put in the prices for. Of course, you can change those based on your market, but it allows you to really think through all this stuff. Then we think, is there any sheet mulching and planting? How much do we need of all of these different things? Well, a lot of times it's like dizzying to think about, well, how much compost do I need? How much wood chips do I need? Blah, 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 right? So then we can bounce over to some of these other documents that we've created, like this. So let's say that this is our materials calculator. So let's say that we are going to mulch a lot of different beds, right? And I can change. So let's say that the length of the area is 10 and the width of the area is 8. So then in this slide, then it kind of shows me like how much, what do I need? Well, it shows me that I'm going to need 0.85 yards. So I would have to round up in that case to 1 yard, of course, to make sure that I've got that. It shows me what my total cost is going to be on that. So I can change all of these things if I've got like 5 different areas that are all mulch, then I can just calculate those that way. Or I can use this other feature down here, like if I label them bed 1, bed 2, bed 3, same thing here. If it's a 9 foot by 5 foot bed, it tells me I'm going to need 1.6 yards here. And that is, I could round that down to 1.5 yards. Then if we scroll over here, it's super awesome because this is for calculating the cost of edging. We use a lot of edging. So let's say we're using Fond du Lac edging and I need 100 linear feet. Well, what I have to put in, I have to get from my suppliers, how much does a linear foot cost? And so let's say that it's like, I'm sorry, how much does a linear foot weigh? So if it's 15 pounds of rock for a linear foot, well, then we have that. It comes out to 1,500 pounds. We round that up a little bit to make sure we're covering our bases here. And then we're going to need that much. We're going to need that many pounds. And ultimately, it's going to cost us this much. We have things like this already built into the materials budget here because we've got things like stone edging. And we can change what kind of stone edging it is. Let's say it's going to be $8 a foot. And then it's going to show me, okay, it shows here even in my notes, it's like sometimes it's $6 a foot. That's what it is right now. It's gone up recently, but I put in the units category, which is this C column. I need 100 feet. So it's going to be $800 for edging. It's going to be, that's what the total cost to the client is going to be. Plus, we're going to need to make sure that we put in a delivery fee for that. And so we add in that delivery fee for wear and tear on the truck. Also, we've got all of our plant budget here. So let's say that we've got a cherry and a peach. Our unit cost for those might be 75. And we're going to do one of each of those. So then it calculates total what our plant cost is going to be. We even have funky things like hexagon bed templates, and we've got so many different aspects of this. One thing I forgot to show you is how once you calculate the garden beds here, we even have it built in where it shows the area of the garden beds. So all the garden beds occupy 96 square feet. And if we have a total garden of 25 by 25, then I can do this calculation and see, okay, my total garden area is 625 feet. And so then I'm going to do this 625 minus 96, that's 529. That's going to be pathway square footage, right? And so then when I need to come over here into my materials budget and I need to calculate something like pathway material, well, I know how many square feet I need to cover, and I can simply enter that number into my mulch. If I need 6 yards of mulch, bam. So that's in there. And then all of this is going to populate here to give me this that I need, right? It's already done, and you can mess around with this. You can change things up. We've got other templates like this drip irrigation template. We've got things like tree rings. So if you're planting, 3 pie cherries and the tree ring diameter is 4 feet wide, well, then it's going to tell you need, if you want to add 6 inches of soil, you're going to need about, in between a yard and a yard and a half of soil, and you're going to need about a half a yard of mulch if you want to cover that. So obviously you could put in all your trees for a project and it would kind of calculate this. If you don't want to use, if you're not bringing in any soil, then obviously ignore that. We almost always mulch a tree when we do this planting. So anyway, tons of things to geek out on here, and just want to give you this like little inside look into our starter pack so that you can decide if this is a product that would suit your needs and expedite the whole budgeting process, which has been This is years in the making of refining for us, and it saves us massive amount of time. So hit us up if you have any questions about this. Happy to clarify or make it more usable for you all, and wishing everybody a beautiful day.